The main characters are, I'm like really bad at remembering names, so let me think. Lane Fargo really said, kill all men. And I said 5 stars. That's what's really great about Mass. You can't see how I'm emoting to the audiobook I'm listening to. I'm not gonna act like I don't have the 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo on my shelves unread, okay? Because I do. Hello everyone. I was gonna say good morning, but it's like genuinely 5 p.m. Happy Friday? No, it's Saturday. Happy Saturday, y'all. Today I thought I would start a reading vlog. I'm currently reading Honey Girl right now, which I have many thoughts about, but I'm a little over halfway through. So I've been reading Honey Girl. I've been listening to They Never Learn, and y'all, I have just been loving this book. Like, I already know, unless it like ends on a really sour note, this is gonna be one of my new favorite books. Basically what it's about, it follows this woman named Scarlett, who's a professor at this university, and she's also a serial killer. But a little twist is that she's killing the guys on campus who she thinks deserves it. So basically she's just like killing rapists, and I mean, is it really up for debate? Like, I think they deserve it. So it's honestly just so fun being in her head. It's like Joe Goldberg on crack. It's so good. It's like gives me the same exact energy. I didn't read You, but I've seen the show. It's also following a second storyline of this girl Carly, who's a student at the school, and she's starting her first semester, and it just kind of is following her journey at school and like with her roommate, and there's tons of queer representation, and it's just baller. Like, it's so good. Next, I've been reading Honey Girl. I've been reading this for like 3-ish days, and I'm, like I said, a little over halfway through. I did know that I shouldn't go into this thinking it was a romance, because I mean, initially what I heard about this book was that it was like, you know, sapphic. And essentially, if you don't know what this book's about, it's about this girl who just finished her like PhD, or I don't know, she just graduated school. Okay, and she accidentally married this girl in Vegas, and then like they went home and they like kind of keep in contact with one another, but they're not really like, you know, seeing each other or whatever. They're just loosely keeping in contact with one another, and Grace is the main character, and she's trying to figure out like what to do after school, and she feels really lost, and then she ends up going and seeing, you know, her wife in New York and staying there for a little bit, and that's where I'm at right now, and they're kind of like building this relationship now. There's a lot of cool characters, I gotta say. Like, honestly, one of the best parts of this book is how realistic and like, I don't know, like the characters are just like so real, and the friend groups that the characters belong to are just so realistic. You can just tell that Morgan Rogers knows what the fuck she's talking about, you know? Like, she knows what she's talking about when it comes to like queer friend groups and like found family. Like, she knows what she's talking about. So like, that's really cool. I'm gonna read some more of Honey Girl later today, and I think I'm actually gonna go in the park and listen to some of They Never Learn. So I'll see you guys later, and I'll let you know what I think of the books. Oh my gosh, I forgot to mention, I was reading Honey Girl like 2 nights ago or something, and like I said, like they just have like, I mean, it's just such a cool friend group in the book. Like, it's like these 3 girls, and they just sound really cool. They sound like really cute, fun besties, and so I made pick crews of all the characters so far. It's actually not every character, because there actually is like quite a bit of characters in this book, but just the main ones. So first I made a pick crew for the main character, Grace, and then I made the 2 for her best friends, Jimena and Agnes, which I think, oh my god, just all 3 of them came out so cute. And then lastly, I made one for her wife, Yuki, which I just love her. Like, I have a crush on Yuki, okay? So this is her In my head, this is her. I just spent some time in the park listening to They Never Learn. Literally, like, listening to that book, it just like makes my heart pound. Essentially, our main character has killed someone, and this kill of hers, she was kind of sloppy, and it was just like such a passion murder, and it was like she had it planned out, but it just didn't end up really working out exactly how she planned. And now she's like in a little bit of a conundrum, a pickle, some may call it. She's in deep shit, okay? So she's like going through this, and she's like kind of keeping her cool, kind of like, you know, experiencing the anxiety that comes along with murdering someone and almost getting caught, you know. This one part that I just finished reading was basically she kept something from the murder, you know, a little souvenir, if you will, and it is just backfiring big time, and I just stopped. I just can't, like, I literally just can't like go any further. Like, I literally need to take a breather because like what the fuck is about to happen? I'm gonna go listen to a bit more, I think, and we'll see how it goes. Okay, all right guys, I'll see you in a little bit. Hi, me again. Okay, so I just listened to a little bit more of They Never Learn, and I just have so many feelings and so many thoughts, so I just kind of wanted to rant a little, so this part will be a little spoilery. I'm like 90% of the way through, and essentially we're at this point where she's building this like friendship relationship with her last victim's wife, who also works at the school. They're just kind of like, you know, around each other, forming this kind of relationship, and like it's becoming a little romantic, okay? They ended up, you know, sleeping together, and then the morning after, Mina finds the book which Scarlett took from her ex-husband's house, who she murdered. So, you know, Mina was like, bro, what the fuck? Are you the murderer? And Scarlett was like, you know, you got me there. So basically, Mina knows that Scarlett's literally murdered all these people because she's been like building a case study on this, and she's really smart and whatever. So basically Mina finds out, and then Scarlett's like, okay, I gotta leave. But then one of her students ends up coming to her house right before she's gonna leave, and is like, this one professor, which is one of her colleagues that she already didn't like, just like a skeevy man, and the student's like, yeah, this one professor, like, he did this and he did that, and he's super fucking creepy, and I'm really scared of him. And she was like, I got you, like, I had to, like, I know I gotta leave so the police don't come for me, but, you know, like, I'm gonna just kill one more guy and then I'll head out, you know? Like, that's her mentality at this point. So she goes to like meet him in like this like faculty building, and ends up running into Mina. Mind you, this is like the next day. When they end up running into each other, Scarlett's like, hey, why don't you like report me to the police, you know? And Mina's like standoffish, but like not totally. And for a moment there, I was like, okay, this would be cool if they like got together and like Bonnie and Clyde this shit, you know? But I was like, realistically, is that gonna happen? I was like, maybe they'll get together and it'll like work, you know? And like, that would be crazy, right? But whatever, I didn't really see it happening. But then when they met up, and Mina was like not even that like standoffish, and was letting Scarlett like explain herself, then Mina calls her brilliant. They're talking about all her murders and why she's done it and all this stuff, and Mina's like, you're brilliant. And then they kiss! They literally kiss! They kissed. Like, what? Like, this bitch straight up knows. Like, she knows, and she's like, you're so brilliant. And literally they kiss. Oh my god, why is this everything? Like, because this changes everything. Like, because she's the only one that knows, and she's the one that has like all this information, that has been like putting together this case study that the two of them have been working on together. And she's the only one who has put this all together because she's just as smart as Scarlett. And I'm just like, oh my God, like what if they get together and they get away with it? Like, that would be so crazy. Like, that's what I want to see. And if it doesn't end that way, I'm gonna be really disappointed, because holy shit, the potential of this, like the potential, oh my God, I'm just, wow, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to finish this book. Hi there, it's Sunday, the next day. It's around 5 p.m. I've read a chapter of Honey Girl today. It was a pretty lengthy chapter, so I've only read one. I feel mixed thoughts about this book. I love the idea of it. I love the cast of characters. I love how they all interact with one another, but I'm finding the pacing to be really slow. Like, I'm not getting through it as fast as I normally would. I'm probably about 70-ish% of the way done with this book, and I just feel like this book shouldn't be where it's at in the storyline 70% of the way through. I feel like there could have been like a lot more development when it comes to like the relationships and all of that, and like, I don't know, maybe it'll all come together really well, and things are definitely developing, but I feel like they're just kind of developing. I'm feeling like mixed feelings about it, you know? I don't totally hate it. I enjoy when I'm reading it, but it's definitely not like pulling me in like I kind of thought it would. Like, I thought I was gonna be obsessed with this book, and right now I'm just heavy liking it, you know? Like, I'm heavy liking it, but I'm not like deeply in love. I'm gonna be honest. On the other hand, I did start listening to more of They Never Learn today. It's just like getting crazy. I have less than an hour left, and I literally have no words now that we're like right at the end, and it's like everything's kind of like coming together and wrapping up. Like, the stakes are so high, and like, oh my God, like, it's crazy. So I have about 40 minutes of that left, so I think I'm gonna go in the park and listen to it, which, let me say, is a strange experience, listening to like a thriller book like that where they're like murdering people and you're just like sitting in the park. But it's fun, it's a good time, gotta get fresh air somehow. Anyway, I'm gonna head to the park, and I'll see you guys in a little bit, and I'll let you know how everything goes. Oh God, I'm nervous. I just got back from the park, where I listened to the rest of They Never Learn, and oh my God, like, I have not processed this at all. Okay, let me try to, I need to turn the air on. Okay, so I finished They Never Learn. It was amazing. It was so good. It ended literally perfectly. Like, it ended in the best way, exactly how I wanted it to end. Like, I literally, like, it's one of those books, I wish someone else didn't write it, because I wish I wrote that book. I can't believe I was given this gift. Like, this book was just so good. I 100% consider it one of my favorite books of all time now. But if it's not obvious, my thoughts are everywhere. So I'm just gonna sit with this for a little while. I'll check in a little bit when I probably read a little bit of Honey Girl, or who knows, I might really not be able to move on today. You know, that post-book depression is real. Hello, welcome back. It's Monday today, and I just thought I'd go over a little bit of what I've been reading and my thoughts. So right off the bat, what I loved so much about They Never Learn is the incredibly strong woman protagonist. It has incredible bi rep, and it has a dual POV that worked so well. Like, I feel like dual POVs hit or miss for me, honestly. Like, sometimes it's like, you know, you like one more than the other, or they don't really make sense to be dual POVs. but this one made total sense, and it was just so good. The next note that I wrote was, this shit is cutthroat. Fucking literally. Okay, this is gonna be a little spoilery, but I kind of want to mention some of these things that I liked about the book, so just fair warning. But what I thought was really cool was Carly's storyline after we learn that she's Scarlet. I thought this was just so like interesting after you find out that she's Scarlet, because you get to really hear like where those thoughts started forming, and how when she was so much younger, they were such scary thoughts, obviously. It kind of shows you that, like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people could argue this protagonist is a sociopath, but she's totally not, like, at all. I feel like that's totally proven in how we see Carly written and how we see Carly's development and how she really does care about other people, and that's why her rage starts to build. That part was just so interesting to me, because you really start to see like her mind develop in this way, and you know, it's so interesting. It really made me think, because I was like, you know, how does someone get from point A to point B? And it really took you through it, and God, it was just so good. Another part of They Never Learn that was so consuming was how smart our main character Scarlet was. Like, she just had everything put together. She had a plan for everything. Even when Scarlet's plan didn't go the way she wanted it to, she still had a backup plan, and she was just so smart in everything she did that I really never was scared that she was gonna get caught. Like, I just had a feeling that she like had this shit in the bag, you know? Like, that's what it was. It was just so interesting to follow this character who was so smart with all the bad they were doing. It was amazing. I really loved it. I'm still currently reading Honey Girl. I have like 10% I think left of this book, and I have thoughts. The characters in general, great. The storyline is where I kind of have an issue. So for starters, I feel like the beginning of the story definitely was kind of slow for me. And now I'm at this part of the story where I'm kind of pissed off. Like, I'm annoyed at where it's going, because here's the thing. I feel like the storyline's just like kind of not cohesive in a way. It kind of follows these two main points, which is, you know, that she married this girl in Vegas and she wants to try and like build this relationship with this girl she accidentally married in Vegas. So she goes to see her and whatnot and learns about her and like learns to love her. And she learns a lot about like not sticking to her plan. And then there's like the other side of the story where it's all about like, she just graduated, she doesn't know what she's doing, she feels lost, she feels helpless. That part of the storyline and the romance just butt heads for me. I feel this way because it began, like the story began with them, like the aftermath of them getting married and Grace being alone and waking up alone in Vegas, okay? And then it kind of brings you back to her like normal life, and then eventually she goes and sees Yuki. I almost said Suki because of Avatar, anyway. Then she leaves because she's struggling mentally. What I'm seeing towards the end of the book, where it's like Grace actually accepting that she doesn't have to like be on this strict life plan, and that she can mess up and make mistakes and go to therapy and all of that. That's super cool. It's just kind of, their relationship really toes the line of believability for me. I'm gonna be honest. Like at points, I'm like, okay, I believe you guys. And then at other points, I'm like, no, I don't. That might have been inevitable with like the Vegas storyline, but I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts, and I'm obviously not finished with the book, so they're still very fresh in my mind. Overall, I really hope Grace's character keeps developing and eventually their romance gets touched upon again, and I just hope it's a good ending. That's all I can hope for. It's around 8 o'clock and I just finished Honey Girl. I think I'm gonna give this 3.5 stars and round it up to 4, because for me, I really did like this book, but I do feel like there were just like some technical difficulties for me. What was really great about this book was Grace's storyline and her growth and her transformation and all of that. But what was lacking was the romance aspect. And even though the romance was definitely like appealing, and I really liked her wife's character Yuki, which a lot of the people in the reviews I was reading was saying they didn't really like her character, but I liked her character. I just feel like it definitely, like, the combination of the romance and this like coming of age plot was just a little, like, it just kind of didn't work at times. What I really liked was Grace's story and Grace's journey, and I really liked towards the end once she started truly getting help and connecting more with her friends and family and learning to be vulnerable. And this book has such great representation of everything: mental health, queer characters, people of color characters, just like racial bias in the workplace, in the universities, just so much. It touches upon so much. I found the main character super relatable, even though she's like 29 and has a PhD. But I mean, the whole point of it is that she really doesn't have everything together, and she's learning that that's okay. And that part was super relatable and super, like, I don't know, that part was just written really well. And like towards the end, when she like really started to grasp that and she started to believe that as a character, I found that part like really great and really rewarding as a reader. So I did like how this ended, and I liked it as a whole. And I would suggest it. I think I'm gonna give it like 3.5, 4 stars. Okay, now comes the part where I have to pick out what book I'm gonna read next. I'm looking this way because that's my bookshelf right there. You can't see it, but it's there, I promise. And I don't know what I want to read next. Okay, so I've been scoping my bookshelf, and I've decided that what I'm gonna read next is Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner. I'm really excited for this book. Okay, I've heard mixed things, but I decided to get it because it's sapphic and I want it to slap. I just really hope this pulls through, because I definitely have seen mixed things about this, but I'm hoping for the best. I don't think I'm gonna start reading tonight, but I'm definitely gonna dive into this tomorrow, and I'm super excited for it. I can't wait. Hey y'all, I am having a bad hair day today, but anyway, welcome to the next day of my life. It's quite a gloomy day, and it's 7 already. I did start Something to Talk About, and oh my goodness, I'm liking this a lot more than I thought I would. I just started it today, and I'm already a big chunk through it. I'm on page 120. It's essentially about this like screenwriter and her assistant who basically, like, rumors start spreading that they're dating, and then it's like kind of a slow burn of like their friendship and their relationship. They both are definitely catching feelings, and it's just so fun. Like, I love it. I really like the characters so far. The main characters are Jo, who is the screenwriter and like the famous woman, and then her assistant is Emma, and then we also have like some really cool side characters. The one I'm liking the most right now is Emma's sister, Avery. They have like a really cute relationship, and like Joe and Avery are like becoming friends, and it's just like really sweet. I haven't been able to put it down because I just want to know what's gonna happen. And like what I do like a lot about the story is that like because of their relationship, where like Joe is Emma's boss, they're around each other all the time. So it's not like one of those like slow burns where you're like waiting for a scene with them to like come up and happen, and you're just like reading until something happens with them. Like they're often together like throughout most of the book, so it's just really fun to like see their dynamic. Anyway, I'm probably gonna listen to some Taylor Swift and then read more of this book. I feel like I need to take a little break because like sometimes when it comes to like books, especially like sapphic romance books that I really like, cough cough, Written in the Stars, I'll read it in like 2 days and then I'm like, what did I just read? Oh my gosh, something else I forgot to mention about something to talk about is that I looked up the book and the characters' names to see if like anyone made fan art or something, because I just love doing that. It helps me a lot to like actually see what the character looks like and whatnot. But the author, Meryl Wilsner, actually like made this like whole thing and put it on their Twitter, and it's like they literally like made pick crews and then they made this whole like list of their characteristics and stuff. I'll put it right here. It's so cool. Like I can't believe an author did this. Like it's amazing. I wish all authors did this. Like I just love it. It really came in clutch when I googled it and that showed up. I was like, oh my god, like this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. It's like a perfect legend for the book. Like, thank you. I thought it was really great that they did this and I love it. Hey besties, I've got a lot to say about this. So a weird thing has happened with this book, which is I've swallowed it whole. I mentioned beforehand that I was like really nervous to read this book, and I was like gonna put it off for a while because I really didn't think I was gonna like it. But basically when I picked this up yesterday, I got almost like 50% of the way through and I was really liking it right off the bat. I mean, it's really slow burn, but I wasn't mad. Literally, I kid you not, this was the first thing I thought about this morning. Like it was just on my mind. I didn't even have to think about it. It was the only thought. I don't know why. It's gay brain rot, you guys. So I just started reading it and I ended up reading damn near 100 pages this morning. Like I was on page 172 and now I'm on 272. Okay, so literally 100 pages. Cool. Right, that's totally normal and fine. Some initial thoughts, okay? First of all, phew. Okay, second of all, I already mentioned that I love the characters, but I love the characters. Big fan, big fan. I'm gonna be real, I don't know if I didn't read this as fast as I did, if I would like it as much as I do, because it's an extreme slow burn. You still got like little things, like little treats, if you will, but they weren't like getting together at any point. They're still not together, and look how far into this book I am, okay? But that's what made it like so addicting. Like this is just a fan fiction. Like me reading this book is the same exact energy of like starting a 50 chapter fan fiction at like 1 a.m. and being like, it's fine, I'm not gonna read all of it, and then just like you just keep going and then things just get out of hand, you know? The slow burn is just like so there, and I think it's a really good slow burn even though it's really fucking slow. Like I feel the chemistry between their characters, they have like all these little moments and all these little scenes, and they talk about each other with their friends, and like it really is all about them. But I have a little critique about the middle of this. So this is gonna get a little spoilery, FYI, but there's a few things I just need to point out, okay? So things were just getting like weird. In the beginning, even when like these rumors start that they're dating, they're like, we're not gonna let this like get in the way of our working relationship and our friendship, like who cares, whatever. And they didn't for the most part. But then, you know, the conflict arises, and this was just a really, like, in my opinion, this was such an unnecessary and stupid conflict. Essentially, the conflict happens because Joe, who is the famous screenwriter, starts like hanging out with Emma, who's her assistant's sister, because her nephew and Emma's sister's kids are on the same baseball team. So they start like talking at like meets and stuff, and then Joe ends up going to Emma's sister's bakery, and Emma's sister's name's Avery. So she ends up going to Avery's bakery because at one of the games she overhears Avery talking to her husband about how like work is really hard and she doesn't have enough money to pay for like more employees. And so Joe stops by her bakery and is like, hey, like, I can help you. Like, I have so much money. Let me just help you. And that's really it, right? Okay. So then, like, they both don't tell Emma about it. But, like, to me, that's not a big deal. Like, Joe didn't tell Emma because she just, like, didn't really know how to bring it up. And Avery didn't tell Emma because it just, like, didn't come up. Like, I don't know. Is that not fine? Like, things just sometimes don't come up, you know? But it ended up being this big, giant thing, like this huge thing where Avery ended up telling Emma, and Emma was like, okay, no, that's cool. Like, why would I be mad? Like, why would I be mad? And I'm like sitting there like, yeah, why would you be mad? But you seem a little mad. It was just really weird. And then she like started having this grudge towards Joe, and Joe was like, are you good? Like, what's wrong? Like, you're upset. Like, what's wrong? And then she just didn't tell her or talk about it, and she was just like holding this grudge, and she just started having all these negative feelings towards Joe because of this one incident. And like some of the parts of it, like some of the lines, I was like, this is so dramatic. Like, this is so dramatic. I thought it was weird at first because like when her sister told her about this, like all these like, you know, traditional feelings of jealousy started to come up. And like one of the lines was, Emma didn't want to share her. And I was like, kind of weird to be jealous towards your sister. Like, I don't know, like, isn't that like, don't you like, isn't that obvious that like you're good? Because in the book they have like a really strong relationship. Like, it's like one of the, you know, core relationships of this story. And I was like, okay, that just like is kind of weird. You're like kind of jealous because Joe is helping your sister. It just like felt weird, right? And then there was this one line where it goes, there was no reason for Emma to feel like this. And I just wrote, yeah, because there wasn't. There was no reason for her to feel like this. I just thought it was funny that like the author literally wrote there was no reason for her to be feeling like this in the middle of her feeling like this. Because like, yeah, I was actually having those exact thoughts. Like at one point she was like, this sucked. The way Joe lied to her, the way Joe treated her like a cog in a machine. And I literally wrote next to it, I'm sorry. What? She's like, she's treating me like a cog in her machine. And I'm like, you're so dramatic. It just gets weirder. Then there was this part, Joe was like, you should come to the last game if you want. And it goes, Emma scoffed. There, perhaps her frustration was justified. Had Joe told her sooner, Emma could have come to support her niece and nephew the whole season long. let's dissect that, okay? There, perhaps, her frustration was justified. Was it though? Was it though? Why would it be? Why? Why are you mad that she was just like, hey, you should come to like the next game, it's like the last game, like I don't know, and you're like, how dare you? Like, how dare you? This part where it goes, had Joe told her sooner, Emma could have come to support her niece and nephew the whole season long. Literally what? Like, just because Joe didn't tell you that she was going to support her nephew doesn't mean like you couldn't have been doing that this whole time. Like, it really like doesn't have anything to do with you. But anyway, moving on. Eventually the conflict gets resolved and Emma sees that Joe cares about her and will take the action necessary to show her that she cares about her, so she ends up forgiving her. And now, like, the ball is rolling, guys, okay? The ball is going crazy, it's fucking falling, okay? But now, Emma is eventually, very soon, going to quit her job as her assistant because Joe wants to like recommend her to, you know, get a promotion, and she's gonna be working on the show that they're currently working on, but Joe's gonna be moving to another movie and they're not gonna be working together. So I mean, they're not gonna be working together, so I guess like all hands on deck. I literally stopped like right before the action's about to happen because I just had to stop myself. I'm not ready, but also I'm like so ready, okay? I'm just having a good time. I'm having a great time. I have no idea what I'm gonna rate this. But as you can tell, I don't know if it's like the mental illness, but this book is like taking over my body, so I'm gonna go read the rest of it. Wish me luck. Okay, I'm back. And I finished something to talk about. Okay, well, what I liked about the ending was, you know, it happened. You know, the girls are not fighting, okay? If I did end up reading this slower than I did, I think it would definitely bother me. The ratio of them being together at the end compared to the slow burn is just not enough. It just does not cut it. Granted, like, I really did like the ending, but part of me, because it was such a long, slow burn, I was almost like, how did this happen so fast? As if that fucking makes any sense. I really liked their relationship to some degree. Like, I definitely enjoyed what I enjoyed, and I liked the slow burn. I mean, granted, it didn't need to be that slow, but I liked it. It was, you know, great build up to it all, and then like we got a little steamy moment at the end. Thank God, it's what we deserve. Okay, it's becoming progressively darker, but nonetheless, I really did enjoy this. I don't even really have any complaints other than like that whole like conflict that they had going in the middle of the book. That was a little weird, I'll admit. But I don't know, I actually found these characters like really compelling, really likable, and I just had a really good time. Overall, it's sapphic and it slaps. I gotta say, some of my favorite things about it were probably, one, I really liked the whole like pining and like them like having so many moments together where like they didn't know, like either one of them didn't know how the other one felt. The dual POV was totally cool, like getting to like actually see both sides and like what both of them were thinking. I think it wouldn't have been as good if like we didn't get to see both of their thoughts and like inner monologues. Like if it was only from one of their point of views, I feel like that would have been weird and definitely wouldn't have been as compelling of a story. Anyway, I had such a good time reading this, and I had such a good time reading all the other books for this vlog. It was a great time. It was so fun. I gotta do this more often. Thanks so much for watching. I had so much fun. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, y'all. And another thing, I was just sitting here thinking, I actually did ultimately give it 4 stars on Goodreads, even though I'm really not sure if, like, it deserves that, but that's just what I felt in my bones, okay? I wanted to come back and mention, another part that I really enjoyed about this book, which was the fact that they were adults. Like, that was so refreshing because, like, I just feel like so many romances are teen-centered or, like, high school-centered, and it was just, like, so fun, like, reading, like, them just being adults. I just really liked seeing them be queer adults, and it was really cool, like, the whole, like, them being in the entertainment industry, and Jo being, like, you know, famous since she was, like, 12. They were just very, very interesting characters, but, yeah, it was so good. It was such a good time. How many times